Mary, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Oleg. It is a delight to talk to you as always. And I am in my office and I'm absolutely delighted to be spending the next 15 minutes talking to you about Jetex and about private jets and why the private jet market is so essential to get travel up and running again and what it's doing for the African continent and bringing people and investment to Africa. Oleg, you and I have known each other for a few years. I'm still not quite sure exactly what Jetex is. Could you share with us?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's great to see you online, Mary, and I hope we can meet properly after the pandemic is over. And greetings from the global headquarters of Jetex here in Dubai. We are a leading private jet company that operates more than 40,000 private jet flights every year. And obviously, what makes us unique is that we do operate absolutely globally. We're not a regional player, we are global. And Africa is extremely relevant for us. We are actually here in Dubai at the crossroads between Asia, Europe, Americas, and Africa. We do handle a lot of transit passengers. And speaking specifically about the African market for private jets, it's extraordinary that it has been growing by 44% year on year in 18 and 19. And this growth is fueled obviously by business travelers, but increasingly so by luxury travelers who go to Africa, who want to avoid commercial airlines and who want to go direct and faster.
These are people who are bringing money in to invest in Africa. They're also taking African money out, of course, that they're taking travelers out. Oleg, you are big in the Ivory Coast. You're big in Morocco. Why are you concentrating at the moment on the northwest and west coasts of the continent?
As I mentioned, we do operate throughout the continent. However, we chose Abidjan for a flagship presence, for a flagship Jetex terminal, for the business traveler, and Marrakesh, obviously, we opened in February this year, which is the biggest private jet terminal in Africa. Because it's so important for the luxury travelers from Europe going to Morocco. It's a short flight distance and a short flight time from Europe. It's relatively affordable. And it's also a transit hub for travelers flying from Americas to Asia or to Middle East as a refueling stop. So it's a strategic location for us. That said, we also focus on other smaller locations in Africa. In fact, since the beginning of the pandemic, we launched a new premier experience service where we partner with luxury safaris, luxury camps, or luxury hotels, which can cater to larger groups of friends or larger families. But at the same time, this is a bubble of safety and privacy for them, and they can fly there directly, avoiding large airports on a jet and spend, let's say, a week or a few days in a safari, again, socially isolated but in luxury.
That's such a brilliant idea. This means that travelers, let's say, from Scandinavia who are longing to go on safari, they can contact jetex.com, and through jetex.com, they can arrange a trip. They can fly, let's say, through Dubai and on to an airport in Africa where they will be picked up and taken to a Singita safari, and you will look after them from pickup right to drop down. This is really seamless travel. Oleg, this is a very clever idea. Has it been done before? Or are you launching a unique product?
Well, fortunately for us, it hasn't been done before. It's only with the start of COVID-19 when we had an increasing number of our regular customers who approached and asked, where can we travel? And at that time, we had a list of destinations and restrictions where they can travel. However, the next question was, would you know by any chance where can we stay? And naturally, we decided to identify and partner with a number of hotels, smaller hotels or boutique hotels, which also have either their own runways, which we historically know that our customers go to Maldives, and Maldives, for example, which opened for tourism actually this week, have 6 airports. You don't need to fly to Mali and then from Mali go in a private transfer to your final destination. You can fly directly to the hotel, and what 2 of those hotels, 2 examples are Villa and Shangri-La, and also actually the Jumeirah Hotel. You can fly
I'm sure
directly.
we're going to have quite a lot of hotel and resort owners listening in to this fascinating talk. What would they need to be able to sign up with Jetex to be part of the fly and stay program? Do they need their own landing strip or what? In other words, what do you need as the private jet operator?
Ideally, they would have their own landing strip, but at the same time, we were approached by smaller boutique properties in Greece and in Europe, who obviously wouldn't have their own landing strip. In this case, they would either provide a safe and seamless ground transportation, or there would be a smaller airport next to their property, which could serve as a perfect FBO location or a perfect private jet airport location. And that means that the airport is too small to handle commercial flights. However, it's absolutely sufficient for a private jet to land.
Now, you are working quite closely with the commercial airline side. Your own terminal in Abidjan, for instance, also services first-class passengers of commercial carriers. How closely do you see the integration between commercial airlift and the private jet market progressing in the immediate future, Oleg?
We've seen an increase in these requests. Basically, even last week I had discussions here in Dubai of how can we facilitate a safe, seamless, efficient and luxury transfer between Dubai International Airport and Al Maktoum Airport, where we are based. So we signed up for a transit program, which will take you either from your commercial flight straight to a private jet flight or vice versa. Actually, the demand came from corporate flyers who use Dubai as a hub for their employees who travel from other parts of the Middle East, would fly private to Dubai, and then from Dubai they fly commercial in first or business class. So we now facilitate and we work closely on this model.
We're finding in the States that many CEOs who used to fly first class scheduled carriers are now realizing that, yes, they can certainly afford to fly private, and now is the time to do that, and they will never go back to scheduled. What kind of increase in business, percentage-wise, roughly, is Jetex seeing on the business side since COVID started?
Well, I will share with you, it's actually a very good question, Mary, and here I would like to share some statistics. As soon as the pandemic started, our passenger traffic dropped to 20% of what it normally is. However, at the moment, we are back at more than 60%. Compared to commercial airlines, we hear more and more CEOs saying that it will take up to 2 or even 3 years for them to rebuild capacity, route network, and schedules. For us, we will recover within the next few weeks, I would say, completely. What we've seen in terms of new customer acquisition, many of our colleagues, including ourselves, can say that May and June have been the 2 best months in the last decade for new customer acquisition. 70% of all our new customer requests are those who have the means, as you rightly say, to fly private. However, they still preferred business and first class. Now they're switching to private jets for a number of reasons. It can be safety, it can be privacy, it can be also efficiency, because commercial airlines don't now fly to all the destinations they used to operate to. So private jet flying is like haute couture, I would say. You try it once and then you can never go back.
Oleg, can you share any demographics of the new passengers? Age groups, perhaps points of origin. In other words, are we talking about boomers increasing your market, or millennials? Are we talking about Scandinavians, French, Middle Easterners, Kenyans, or whom?
We see, I would say the entire world is now waiting to travel. However, in terms of demographic and age group, there are two very particular groups. You obviously have your, as I call the private jet connoisseurs, who are in their 40s, 50s, who are used to flying private jet. They want to travel. Traditional luxury customers. However, at the same time, you see more and more younger customers, millennials, and also those who come from the e-commerce background, IT background, who are completely different from the old traditional luxury connoisseurs. However, they do still appreciate private jets for their efficiency, privacy, and reliability.
And
so
where are you seeing, excuse me jumping in, where are you seeing growth for the destination side on the African continent?
On the African continent, obviously North Africa has been quite active, but at the same time, Sub-Saharan Africa, we see obviously Abuja growing. We see Abidjan is always one of our top destinations. We see traffic to and from South Africa. So those are the two, well, those are the several traditional markets for us. And obviously Marrakesh being the busiest currently, and the biggest market in North Africa, it's booming as well. Egypt.
I'm interested also in Togo and Benin and Senegal, because a good friend of mine is a very top World Bank official has just been moved in there, which is saying something to me. I'm not sure what. Jetex needs to be on top of what is going on in the world. If we can get away from Africa just for one brief moment, you're very strong in France. How did that come about?
It happened historically. Our first private jet terminal opened in Le Bourget in 2009, and obviously we looked at, and it's the busiest private jet terminal in Europe. So growing from Paris, we expanded to 17 destinations, 17 locations within France. And I would say even internationally, we see French market as one of the leading European markets or leading global markets in private jet travel, which is obviously a very good sign for us. We have traditional luxury travelers, luxury consumers who know precisely what they want. They appreciate efficiency and they also appreciate privacy and the luxury touch of Jetex.
And yet you are based in that other center of luxury of the world, Dubai. Really the key to connecting one part of the world to the other. I do appreciate you coming to talk to me. You're in Dubai, I'm in the rest of the world. Oleg, thanks for your time. See you soon.
Thank you, Mary.